opportunity for me to give an overview of the SADC Elimination 8. As a background, according to WHO, about 1.4 million on an annual basis of human beings die from malaria. Of that, 90% are Africans, mainly from sub-Saharan Africa. WHO had been entrusted by the UN as a UN agency responsible to the health of the UN member states. WHO had on many occasions during the World Health Assembly, during the regional committee meetings, advised member states on how to go about combating, responding to this calamity. First, it is important to note that malaria is both preventable, it is curable, it's eliminable, if there's such a word, and finally, it can be indeed eradicated. Europe, as an example, eradicated malaria. In some member states in Europe, such as Italy, up until 1980, there was still malaria and they managed to eliminate it. So why not Africa? Having been appointed as Minister for Health and Social Services in Namibia, one of the areas that I felt I needed to put my hand on is that of malaria. We come up with, at the time, E8, Elimination 8, only for the 8 member states, first with the 4 frontline countries being Botswana, Eswatini, Namibia, and South Africa. These countries, at the time, we had it in mind that malaria could be eliminated, all being equal in terms of economics, in terms of expertise on the ground. Certainly, we had it in mind that come 2020, one of these 4 countries must eliminate malaria, without a doubt. But there had been some challenges, as you all know. Then we had the second line countries. These are all-weather endemic countries: Angola, Mozambique, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, where you are talking of, on any year, you are talking of more than 2 million cases of malaria. So we agreed, we signed an agreement, and we extended this to our governments in consultation with our heads of state and government, in consultation with our attorney generals. They looked at what we had wanted to achieve. Was it feasible? Of course, with WHO technical advice, it was felt that it was indeed feasible. We decided this time around that there was need that we come up with a declaration which would commit our heads of state and government to direct health ministers, and indeed to commit themselves as heads of state and government, that they put more resources, especially looking at the Abuja Declaration, where all member states of the AU had to put in at least 15% of their budget to the health ministry. And the need for member states to share data, that is critical, which would be in a position to direct the Secretariat. 3 years ago, as I said, the heads of state and government signed what it has now become known as a Windhoek Malaria Declaration. That declaration has now forced member states that E8 SADC Elimination 8 has now to include all the 16 member states of SADC, and that SADC Elimination 8 is now the SADC desk for malaria. What then? What is its essence? Its essence is to see to it that it fills in the gap for the member states. By the way, COVID-19 and malaria share some common signs and symptoms. As an example, fever. And other than that, all these two challenging diseases, they are all being responded to by the health personnel, the health practitioners. Whether you speak of the nurses, you speak of the doctors, etc., they are health personnel. One area or two areas that I may wish to say here is, surely it had not been all roses. Absolutely not. We have had some challenges relating to funding this institution. By and large, E8 had been wholly dependent on our partners, the major one being the Global Fund, seconded by the Gates Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates, and of course, other most valued partner is the University of California, San Francisco. They had been sharing, assisting, supporting the institution in terms of expertise and, of course, financial resources. There is one critical thing that I want to mention here, never to forget. That is, in terms of malaria elimination, there is no single country that can claim to eliminate malaria, no matter the status of such a country, be it in terms of economics, population, and otherwise. Because malaria, as I said in the beginning, does not carry passport. And the parasites as well do not carry passport. As we move, so is the challenge. What about the successes? Of course, the successes are immense. As I said, we moved from one-man show to where we are going beyond 25 expertise advising the member states. And that we almost, 5 years ago, we almost, in these four frontline countries, almost eliminated malaria. Unfortunately, in 2017, we have had one of the worst epidemics, which affected almost all countries, in exception of one. Thus, this had been some challenges, the areas that I was mentioning. Yeah. Thank you.